All right, hey guys. Now I did want to kind of talk about this here real quick. You can see Apoc 2, Rock 5. Depending on if you have an Apocalypse, you could maybe start to think Rock here because that's more or less the shot that I want to hit here. But I should be able to, if I've unlocked Apoc, Apoc 2 should be good enough here. I'm thinking this wind is a tailwind pointed kind of towards the hole. But that's just kind of going off of last year as well. So I'm not sure that that's exactly what it is. I'm just kind of saying that's what I think it could be. The wind pointed towards the hole. 9, 10 o'clock. So what I typically do, last year, I feel like I did a rock shot with kind of like a berserker ball. This almost isn't enough. I can maybe go origin, power 4, backspin, kind of like this. Now what this does is it lets me stretch this max up to the max a little bit. So it lets me get up here kind of to the top of this tree. I'm thinking somewhere around 6 rings, 5, 6 rings, a little bit of curl, kind of like this. So that's the one thing about Origin. It's a super fast needle, so I was early. And early is probably going to be no good here. As you can see, a 2-ring great ball puts me in the rough with a perfect ball. That socket and hop with 2 backspin lands right around the front of the green. And maybe I roll over through to the back of the green. But, I might be putting. So that's the reason that I like that shot. Do keep in mind, even maybe a berserker makes that shot a little bit. I think that's what I did last year. Is I did berserker, rock, and about 2 backspin was essentially perfect. It probably mathematically works out very close. Yeah, very close to that 231 that I just hit, which was a Apoc 2, power 4, with 3 extra power. That would move that ball up to 228, 229. So that spin would have been essentially ideal, and I would have been maybe landing 2 or 3 yards less, which essentially still carries to the front of the green and then just trickles on. So, definitely possible rock, berserker, or even if you have a 231, you might have a 231 rock if you have a rock 8. So if you have a rock 8, it's probably even better than a weak Apoc. So let me put it to you that way. You can replicate the shot I just did, and even if you would have caught a 3-ring great ball, I would have been on that fairway. So that's the difference. You could essentially do the exact same shot I just did, or berserker if you wanted. And with a rock, 2.5 on the spin, 2.5 on the backspin. So great ball, but just off. So good opportunity there. And as I mentioned, a lot of variations that you're going to be able to do. If you have a rock 8, that's probably the choice that I'm going to recommend. It's going to be, now keep in mind, I'm not really playing a live opponent, so that's the reason that I'm forfeiting there. But there should be, a really good chance for you to be able to use the rock there. And that's one of the reasons that I wanted to show you that, because especially with the new extra 5 extra yards that it has, a rock 8, for instance, is going to have 9 extra yards than this has. So at that 231, as you can see, that's where my 231 is. And power 4 would have been enough. It would have been plenty for me to pull that shot off. It might have even been too much. I got to be honest with you. So essentially what I could do is I could go 2.5 backspin, and I could have done that same kind of aim, same kind of curl, but with a rock, I would have had that much more precision. So if I hit a 2-ring great ball, that would be kind of equivalent to kind of me hitting on the bullseye's edge on a rock, which is essentially impossible. I'm not going to hit a 5-6 ring pull on a rock. I would have, only been about 2 rings, and I would have probably just been on the right edge of the fairway there. So if I would have replicated that shot, even with that fast needle, it would have probably still been on the fairway with a rock. That's one of the main reasons you'll probably want to, do some version of that shot. So I'll probably do that with my next guide, just to show you how useful that rock is. Even with an Epoch 6, a rock might be a better club because of the accuracy boost. So since it has higher accuracy, I could probably, with a 1 or 2 ring pull, it's not going to cost me. So keep that in mind. Good luck, and I'll see you guys on the next hole.